I can make this bigger. Oh no.
Hi everybody, we're live.
Hello.
Hello. So I'm joined this week by a very special guest. We have Livy Hart. She is the author of Talk Flirty To Me.
Oh no, we froze. Immediately froze.
There
we go.
My Wi-Fi needs some help. Yeah, I'm obsessed with this book. If you have not read it, you need to. I believe I put links in the description if I did my job. Not my YouTube playing. Okay, yeah, I did my job correctly. I put links.
I love it. I love it. Perfect.
How are y'all? I'm good. How are you?
We are rocking and rolling.
Yes. Okay, so tell us about yourself and your books in case people don't know who you are, which is a crime in my opinion, but whatever.
I am Livy, and so yes, Talk Flirty is my first book that is out now. So I'll start with that. It is a romance, adult contemporary romance about a voice actress and her need to secure a gig, and she enlists the help of her firefighter ex-boyfriend because he is the only living male body in the vicinity who can do the job. So even though it is not ideal to work with him because they had a rough high school breakup, she puts her pride aside and they decide to record an audiobook together or audition. And then it turns out that the book was a little more romantic than they anticipated. So then they are in a situation where they have to choose between her doing the job that she desperately wants and an incredibly awkward erotic audiobook. So make that choice, and then the rest is chaos and history.
It is so good.
Thank you.
Like my favorite book of the year, obviously. Yeah.
I'm influenced. Brittany is my favorite influencer. So I have the tabs and because of the way everybody's brain is different, right? It never even occurred to me that like the different colors would mean something. So I was like, when I would want to put one in for something, I would just be like, blue is pretty, and everyone's like, no, like blue means one thing and orange means a different thing. I'm like, oh, that makes it more organized. I like that.
Yeah, I used to just do random colors for random things too, but now I'm like, nah, it's got to have a system. There's a lot of pink in here for romance, obviously. It's a good fun time in there.
Excellent. Yes. And then I finished my second book, which is now currently in production. So it'll be out in May, called Planes, Trains, and All the Feels. And it is a hijinks heavy romance based on planes, trains, and automobiles, which I don't know if I know I had seen it prior to taking on that book, but I'm not sure if it's more of like a different generation or what, but it's the ultimate disaster road trip where everything that can go wrong does, but make it a romance. And so that's all out of my hands now, which is a wonderful feeling, right? Like I worked on it for a couple months and now I have handed it off and I just get to wait eagerly for it to come out. So ARCs will be coming out like within the next 2 weeks. It just went on Idlewise today, which was really exciting. I was just like going about my day and discovered it was up. So soon it will be available on NetGalley too. So
ARCs, I love that. Are they going to be physical ARCs or just digital ones?
Yes,
this physical
ARCs. Yes, I'm excited.
Entangled,
this was like all kinds of good stuff happening.
Entangled has sent me a few ARCs before, so they better. They better.
Brittany is the ultimate influencer, like I said. So come on, Entangled. Yes, this one will have something I'm really, really excited about that I did not get for Talk Flirty. And I don't know if it's a secret, but it'll definitely be a really cool thing. That's my way. Is it a secret? I don't know. But when the ARCs go out, we'll be able to see like they're doing something special with the ARCs. So I'm like so beside myself excited to see that play out on social media. So yay.
Why is my like heart palpitating? I'm like
mine was too when I learned that this was happening.
I'm so excited.
It's just exciting because like with Talk Flirty, like it was a whirlwind. I when I signed with Entangled, there was like a couple months that went by. And then once we started edits, everything went really fast and we turned it around. So from, NetGalley arcs going up to the time it actually like released was only like 2 months, maybe not even, like maybe 6 weeks. So everything was just so fast. It was like, which is great, because I wanted it out. So it's different this time to have like all these different milestone steps along the way, because, to have a full print run, it takes like almost a year. So we've had like all these nice little milestone steps for this book. So I feel like it's a different experience, and it's been really exciting.
Yeah. I mean, I read Talk Flirty To Me like back like last year, and then I read it again beginning of this year, and I like all I wanted to do was like clutch it against my chest when I finished. And so like the fact that it came out so quickly worked really well for me.
Like I will enjoy this. This works for me.
Yeah. I really did enjoy it. Okay, hello everybody. We have Julia, we have Natalie.
Oh, friends. I see people I know. I can't see them except when they pop up in the comments. So yay, sprinters.
Hello.
Yes,
hello.
I can see them if I click comments. Am I 100 years old?
I have no idea. I don't know what it looks like on your side. I'm assuming it looks the same as mine.
No, you have the grown-up privileges, and that's how it should be. Do not give me any power whatsoever in this chat.
Okay.
Everybody's sprinting. I like it. What's it like to be able to concentrate on, 2 things at once? Could not be me. Actually, I've tried to get better at that so I can like be a more functional human being.
Oh my god. I'm hoping that this really does push people to read your book, because they should. They absolutely should. Okay. My second question is, what are you working on right now? I said that so weirdly.
In this moment. So I actually have a book that I'm working on that is due in like 3 weeks. And this is another kind of fast and furious experience, because, if all goes according to plan, it will be out either before or right around the same time as Planes. So this is a fast turnaround book. And
I'm so excited.
I know, I'm like this. Okay. So I always say that like the first book you ever write, you write for yourself, you write what you would want to read, you put everything that like, because you don't know, and you don't have those like voices in your head of what you should or shouldn't be doing. So you just sort of like go ham. So that's why I had like a drunk grandma and all these other things and talk because like I just did what I wanted to do. Right. And so when it came time to write Planes, I had a lot more voices, a lot more like shoulds and shouldn'ts in my head. So it definitely impacted how I approached it. And I also, there was just a lot, I just was going through a lot at that moment in time. And so I had a different experience writing that book for sure. It was like, I always say, the best example is like in my acknowledgments for Talk Flirty, the first line was like, this is the most fun I've ever had in my entire life. And then when I was writing my acknowledgments for Planes, I was like, this is a book that happened to me because I did not expect to be so emotional writing it. And it's not, it's, it's still the same outcome. It's still a funny romance with, elements of like serious family stuff and, kind of moments, but just the experience of writing them was just night and day different. So all that to say, the book I'm working on right now actually feels a lot more like Talk Flirty did, where I'm just doing whatever I want and I'm waiting for someone to stop me. So I'm kind of putting everything ridiculous that I love into it. And what I know, so the elements of it that most likely won't change is what I'll talk about, because I know a lot of things will change in edits, but I keep describing it to people as like every episode of The Office that you really like that's what I'm trying to put into this book. So like my favorite episodes of The Office are like, Booze Cruise and whenever they leave the office, like the weird food trucks, like all these things that's kind of the vibe I'm going for with this book. Like really office humor, but like with a bunch of sex. So that's and so
I love that.
I hope it comes together in a way that makes sense. It's definitely, whereas like Planes and Trains is a road trip book, so they're out in the world and sort of like their obstacles are very external, like snow and chaos and all that. This book is more another like set in a hometown, more of a family book with a lot more characters, and so it kind of feels a lot like Talk Flirty in that way. But there is no I know that it's hard to like listen to this because you're like, what are you talking about? Because I've said actually nothing of substance about this book, but I guess the takeaway is it's a slutty office book without taking place in an office.
I am obsessed with that. I've never actually seen The Office, but I'm here for this.
just pretend for the sake of this conversation, right? No, yeah. I just love the idea that like really, really down to earth experiences that like everyone has every day can still be kind of like, not to be cheesy, but like magical. You know, going to a work event can somehow be a romantic experience, but not really, because you don't date this is not a coworker's book, but you know, it's just like these everyday moments, taking them and making them feel really special. Like with Talk Flirty, I had one of my favorite scenes is they go to a high school gym and they have a dunk tank and it's a fundraiser. And like, it doesn't sound like that should be something that would end up being like romantic, but I remember writing it and just like snickering, like,
I love that scene.
you know, so that's kind of the energy that I like, just stuff that could happen to us, but in a more fun way.
God, I love that book. Okay. We love this. Okay, skip season 1 and then watch it. Won't I like miss information?
That's what my husband says too, because season 1 is the peak cringe British style humor because they were really trying to hold fast to the British version, but the rest of it is perfect. I love all the Office fans rise up, like you will get Brittany.
I mean, I just watched New Girl because I saw everything about it on Twitter, so I feel like I'm very easily influenced.
Did you like it?
I loved it.
Oh my gosh, I'm writing a Schmidt, so that makes me happy. There's definitely a main character that has Schmidt energy in this book, so
I love that.
Perfect.
You're not late at all. We haven't even done a sprint yet, so.
Oh yeah, because I'm just talking about all kinds of things.
The dunk tank scene, perfection. So good.
Thank you.
Ooh, that's cute. Oh my God, okay, so many comments.
I know. Hi.
You know what? I believe you.
Somebody who said booze cruise. Thank you for recognizing how excited that makes me too.
Julia.
That's my existence is a booze cruise scene. Dinner party. This. There is a dinner party. Yes, this is making me feel validated in my decision to turn The Office into a weird romance. Thank you.
Okay, I didn't even pull up my Google timer. My bad. But I think we should do our first sprint.
All right.
So I usually start off with 15 minutes because that just seems like a good time.
Okay.
I need to share my screen. I always forget how to do it. Okay.
I would have like a panic attack when I would share my screen at work. I'm like, what am I going to actually show?
I know. I'm pretty sure the first time I ever did like a live show where I shared my screen, I like made sure like I just had like one like window that just had like the one tab in it. I'm like, I don't want to show anything weird. Not like I would have had anything weird, but
because every time I plug in at school, because I work at a school, I'm always like, I don't want you to perceive anything on my screen, children. So
okay, are we ready for the first sprint?
Yeah.
Okay, and start. Okay, and that's time. Ooh, I like that score. Okay. How was that script, everybody?
That was good, actually. I didn't think I would be able to like do it, and I did, so that was nice.
I did too.
I like being able to do the thing that I came here to do. It's very nice.
How many words did you get done?
Like I'm editing this section, so not a lot, but yeah. How about you?
I got 557.
Wow. What is the most you've ever written in a day?
10,000, I think.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you. I did it during NaNoWRIMO one year, and it was a mistake. I was like drained for the rest of the month. It was not.
Well, good. That's what's hard. Like I tried to do a 10,000 word day on Sunday. I was like, I have to get momentum, and there's certain things I can write really fast and certain things I can't. But if you do a big day like that, then the next day you're tired. So you could have just split that word count over 2 days and been like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I can do 5K in a day and be pretty okay. But the 10K, no, not good. Ken's here.
Hi, Ken. I was taking care of my cat. I respect that. Scrivener freezing. Is that how you say it? Scrivener?
Mm-hmm.
I bought Scrivener when I had a Dell, downloaded it, and was like, I'm going to be that person who gets their life together. Hi, Kara. If you're still here. And then I didn't ever use it. So here we are.
Yeah, I almost bought it 1,000,000 times. And then I was like, I just don't think it's worth it to me.
I think that, I mean, I see the benefit for sure, but I get anxious about having all those pages or however it's organized, and then you like put them all together in a doc. I don't know why, but for some reason that gives me anxiety. It's like,
understandable.
I just can't mess with the process once you have one.
Mm-hmm.
I love that, Julia.
Yeah, amazing. Didn't write anything actually. Me as well. Who was the Funko?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. This is Jen Levinson. This is an office Funko to keep me in the spirit of my current.
It's very on brand of our discussion.
It's from the dinner party episode. I have like so many of them, and I need to get like one of those cool like clear display cases and actually display them, but have a chosen one like every month, and they get to hang out. So yeah.
I love that. Okay, so I did have more questions. I believe the next one is, have you participated in NaNoWRIMO before, and have you won? So
yes, I did not know that there I did not know there was a website that you actually signed up on. So technically no, but I did do the 50,000 in a month. And that's how I wrote Talk Flirty, or the original version of it. But it was only like 65K in its first like draft, which is funny because it ended up being almost double that, of course. But I did that in the span of like NaNoWRIMO, just because, and it was just like kind of unintentional. But I actually think that anything like NaNoWRIMO is really good for like cohesiveness, because if you're telling yourself the story in a short period of time, you kind of are able to do it in a way that keeps the momentum up. And I think like if you are somebody who has a hard time with pacing, or if you're used to overwriting, like NaNoWRIMO is really good for keeping that. Like you don't have time to describe the trees because you're just trying to like keep going with the story. So, but yes, I have, and I was really excited to finish it.
Yeah, you talked about how Talk Flirty ended up being like twice that size, but originally it was just Piper's point of view, right?
Yes, I wrote it single point of view. I had not one single like bit of logic behind any of the decisions I was making at that time. I just, I feel like every book so far I've written, including the ones before that and after it, like I have like 2 or 3 moments I want to write, and then I build the whole story just to like allow me to write those 2 or 3 moments. And so Piper's single point of view was all because I just was like, I want to talk about, you know, these 3 things and I can do that in her head. And I just went with it. I did not know that I was going to change it to dual point of view until after I'd already signed. But I can't imagine not writing the second point of view now. Like that's my favorite part. I like writing. I like writing dual. I don't know if I could do another single point of view, but I feel like this is just what I really back and forth of being in both of their heads.
Yeah, I love the dual POV in this book, and I find that like with a lot of adult romances, I prefer the dual POV situation. But like I did read the version of Talk Flirty To Me that just had Piper's POV, and I didn't know that I needed Sam's until we got his, and I was like, oh, yeah, I only needed that.
I didn't feel like I really knew him until I had to put myself in his head, and so it was really a challenge because I had about 4 weeks to take it and turn it into dual to stay on our timeline. And so I didn't really have time to overthink anything. And I didn't have to make plot decisions because it was taking an existing incident and deciding, okay, which one of these scenes would be more fun or more important in his head. And so I was able to just be like, oh, I would really love to see how he sees her in these certain moments. And that's kind of that's how I got to know him too. And I liked him a lot better after that. Like in the first, I just liked him after I wrote him, which I guess that makes sense because you get to know someone by getting in their head. But
oh, it was so good. Yeah, I wrote one dual POV book. It was for Camp NaNoWRIMO this year, I think, is when I did it. And it's hard. It's hard.
It's hard because if you write, first of all, you have to have the 2 distinct voices enough that they feel different. And then, you know, writing the male point of view is like hard because you don't want to stereotype. You don't want to like lean too into like gender norms and all those other things that you just sort of like don't really think about until you're forced to actually like, how would this person respond to this event? And it can be, you know, the theme of this is if I think about anything too much, it's a bad thing. So I just try not to overthink it. But see how you did the dual point of view. I bet
it's not good. It's also only a first draft, so my first drafts were never good to begin with. But yeah,
somebody said they wrote 6 point of views, and I respect it.
6 point of views. Oh god,
that would be fun and challenging.
I could never. I could literally never.
If you're somebody who like hasn't ever tried multiple points of view, fan fiction, I saw somebody say something about fan fiction is a good way to practice because the characters, you already have sort of like a pre-formed opinion of what they would think and do and feel because they're like already real to you. That's a good way to like get in like get in Tom Holland's head and write Spider-Man.
Have you ever written fan fiction?
Not really. I read a lot of fan fiction back in the day. I was definitely more of a consumer. I'm trying to think if I ever wrote. Yeah, if it did, it would never see the light of day. Because it would have been really old.
The only fan fiction I ever wrote was like One Direction fan fiction.
Nice.
Naturally. But also when I was like really young, I like technically did Junie B. Jones fan fiction. Like I tried to write like my own Junie B. Jones book, but really it was just me taking my favorite elements from my favorite books and making like into like one big book. It was hilarious. I used like official Junie B. Jones stickers and everything.
I love that. I bet you crushed it. First of all, second,
you know what? I think I did.
I did that with Hermione. I definitely was like, I could tell her story. Give me a minute. And I did like Harriet the Spy fan fiction. Now that I'm thinking back, I was like, she gets into trouble. Let's write it.
And
that too. My friend Jessica Joyce, if you know her, she writes single point of view, and her debut is single point of view. But when she gets like into drafting and she gets stuck, she will write some scenes from her like love interest's point of view, just so she can kind of like figure out what they would be thinking. And then she doesn't use the scenes, but I think that's a cool like idea for if you get stuck or something, like exploring it, exploration writing.
I think I did that once with my first book.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I definitely also wrote Niall fan fiction. I mean, he's my favorite member, so of course I did.
You chose wisely.
Oh yeah, he's the best. Okay, so my next question was, what's your favorite NaNoWRIMO memory? If you have one. You only did one NaNoWRIMO, right?
Yeah, so from that one, though, probably my favorite one.
Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi froze.
Every time I hit like the halfway point of a story, I have such like an emotional reaction, because it really does feel like, even though the actual curve of like a story arc is like up, 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 down, and then it's kind of levels out. Like for me, it really does feel like you're climbing until you get to that halfway point and you see the end in sight. And then it's like this big emotional, like, yes, I can get there. So probably the halfway point, when like literally writing a midpoint, or like when they have this huge turning point in the story. So with Piper and Talk Flirty, it was like when they finally admitted their feelings for each other and everything. Like I feel like at that point I can actually see from the middle to the end of the story, and it like is a huge exciting moment, which it's just because finishing a story is such a good feeling that you want to like get there. So I'm like, okay, I need like all these little moments along the way to start to get excited about that ultimate finishing of the story. So
my cat walked in the room, so I'm very distracted.
no, that's important. Make time. Do you have a favorite memory?
I was trying to think about this earlier, and I think one of them is doing the 10K day that I did, because I was doing with like a couple of friends, and so that was really fun. But also, like I said, like it was so exhausting, and it took me out.
Her poor Wi-Fi. I do like that she made the like slash and then it froze. Took her out.
I need my Wi-Fi to just chill. Jojo or Chandler? It was Chandler. Did he leave? I think he did. I don't know. But yeah, it was Chandler.
Whoever wrote Doctor Who fan fiction, yes.
Oh yeah, Allie Mae.
There is a running joke in Planes and Trains where the guy who is a super button-up, uptight, very uptight love interest, he does cosplay, and he cosplays as a character from Doctor Who, not in the book, but like she finally gets him to admit what he dresses up as, and it's
it's amazing.
I just like, I can't let a person just not have some sort of hobby that involves Doctor Who or something to that effect.
I love that. I think we should do another sprint.
All right.
I'm gonna do another 15-minute one, I think.
Everyone has to write 1,000 words. I'm just kidding. I'm not, but everyone else does.
Could you imagine? It's like, unless you don't write 1,000, kicking you out, blocking you from the sprint.
It's not a Dalek. He just dresses as Matt Smith's doctor because I am a hoe for Matt Smith. Okay, I shouldn't have said that. We're on the internet. Sorry. I'll just mute myself. It's fine.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay, and start. I didn't show the sprint. What am I doing? There we go. Okay, now start. Okay, sprint is over. How did everybody do on that one?
That was a good one.
I don't figure out how much I wrote. How much did you get done?
Like 400.
Nice. I did 546.
Nice. Are you on track this year? What's today?
Today is the 8th. Actually, I think I'm ahead.
Hmm.
Let me just input my. Where is the website?
Nice. Somebody else 400. Yeah, it's like nice to get that momentum at the start of the month in case something happens later in the month and you sort of fall off or get tired.
I'm just like over 1,000 words ahead, I think.
Yes. Excellent.
Excellent indeed.
What's something you really like about your current project?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Not a whole lot at the moment, honestly. Drafting is never fun for me. I don't enjoy it. I just messed up my bullet journal. That's fine.
Yeah, editing is
I'll
the good
fix this
stuff.
later. Yeah, I don't enjoy it. I'm enjoying a little bit of what I'm writing today. It's better than it has been, which is good, especially like the last chapter that I wrote in the first sprint that we did.
You're trending upward. You're liking it more. Kara's cutting words, which also is a mood because I had to cut a bunch in planes, so it's rough. I'm very bad at cutting. I get really like emo about it.
Hello, we are doing great. Thank you for asking. Oh, Chandler's trending on Twitter. It is about my cat, obviously. He's famous. My human main character is learning of the skeleton war from my skeleton main character going on that no human knows about. Sounds fun.
That is fun.
Planning, not writing, but my dog grew by 129 words. Fantastic.
We'll take it. Forward momentum.
V got 261.
That's about what I can usually do in 15 minutes.
Amazing. I love it. Okay. What's something that you're liking about yours right now?
And I always am like character first. Like I have to like really like them before I like the story. So I'm somewhere in that realm where I'm like, okay, I like you too. But now I have to figure out what you're doing.
That makes sense.
Just have to write a whole bunch of dialogue you're never going to use, and then you know them.
I hate dialogue. I hate everything, honestly. I hate writing.
Crafting. I hate it all. I like realize you like trend wise. I notice that I just never describe where they are. They can be wherever you want. Like you just decide. Are they outside? Sure.
Yep. I have white room syndrome. You don't know what my characters look like. Yep.
You'll know what my characters are eating and wearing, but wherever they are, doesn't matter.
It really doesn't, use your imagination.
I do like describing a lot. Like my editor laughs at me because I'll be like, I'll know at this point what I'm writing something. She'll be like, you do not need this. And I'm like, I need this. I need everyone to know about these overalls. And if I don't describe them in 3 to 4 sentences, you won't know about the overalls. But that's why my drafts are so long.
I love that. Also, everyone can ask questions for Livy if you have any. That would be fun. But I have another question. The next one was like, tell us about a project you drafted, but we kind of already talked about that with Talk Flirty To Me. So we can move on to the next one, which is, what's your greatest NaNoWRIMO or writing advice?
Yes. So when I was first writing, I would try a lot of different things. Like people would be like, you should do this. I'd be like, okay, you should do this. Okay. And I had a lot of like willingness to try different strategies like Scrivener or this or that. And like, I just felt like it never worked for me. And it was probably because I was just not like being true to like what I actually enjoy and do well with. So, you know, for fast drafting, that was all a preface to say, like, for what works for me might not work for other people. But I write large, like 3,000 to 5,000 words usually in a day for like a nano period. And then I go back and I don't really write anything the next day. I just edit. But that's also because at the end of that, like at the end of this month, I have to turn this in. Whereas if you're not turning it in and you know you'll be able to edit later, like you don't have to do it that way. But I get anxiety if I wrote like a large chunk that I know is not in any way, shape, or form polished or like fleshed out, because then I feel like I don't know, it's hard for me to move forward when things are not fleshed out. So I just like to do sort of like a large amount of words one day and then sort of cleaning up the next day. And then I feel like we said earlier, it ends up being the same outcome as if I just wrote 3,000 words every day, but it gives your brain sort of variety. Because if I just draft and draft and draft and draft, like I lose touch with like what's even happening. So I do like to have a lot of built-in pauses to go back and like deepen character interactions and all that stuff. But like from an organizational standpoint, I mean, I do plan now because I have to turn like plans in. So it forces me to do them. But I don't know if I could write without a plan anymore. So even for like nano or something, I need to have like a really solid plan. Otherwise I waste a lot of time like in the doc, like erasing stuff. So I did this like note card system this time where I had like more of a 4-act structure, but like I had different like note cards and the colors were different acts, and I actually laid them out on my wall so I could visually see like, okay, I'm on track to get to X amount of words. And so I'm just super visual. I don't know. Everything's visual for me.
I always have to have like a very detailed outline. Like I'm pretty sure my outline for this book was like over 11,000 words. I'm like, great. Okay.
Do you just go and fill it in then?
Yeah, I use like the Save the Cat beat sheet, which is like works really well for me. And I just write as much detail as I can. It's never usually enough, even though I think that it is when I'm outlining, but whatever. What are some of the locations that the characters go to in planes, trains, and all the feels?
I love that. So it was really hard to make those decisions because it was such a cascade effect. Because I always laugh because I used to read road trip books and I'd be like, oh, I would never have been able to tell you where they were. Like I just like, they're in a car, you know, they're going somewhere. But with this one, I had to coordinate when a plane would land, when a train would start, and how they'd get a car. And I had to be super meticulous about like it being realistic. Unfortunately, some of it is very much not realistic, but anyway, so they go from their journey is from North Carolina to California. So it is cross country. My favorite spot they go to, my two favorite are Moab and Vegas. All the good stuff happens, you know, towards the West Coast, and then most of the bad stuff happens in the beginning of their trip in the East Coast. But the weirdest place was Joplin, Missouri. And I was in Arkansas on a trip a couple weeks ago, and I saw a sign for Joplin, Missouri, and I like lost my mind and like stuck my arm out of the sky, the moon roof. And my husband's like, "You're going to lose your phone." I'm like, "No, I have to get the sign." Anyway, so yeah, definitely Vegas is my favorite. I'm glad she froze laughing at me. I'm going to read this comment while she's frozen. Not related at all, but I just need to know that if a character has white or red hair, they're instantly superior. Okay, yes, that is 100% true. I will validate this. I had the most fun writing my redhead character in this book, so that therefore it is true. The overalls. So she's just gone. I don't know if she'll come back. So the overalls, I actually did write overalls that were like that got into the final draft of planes. She was sitting really still. That's funny. I have a character who's like a tow truck driver, and I really wanted him to have the vibe of like a non-creepy but very you know, in the middle of the woods tow truck driver. And I was like, the overalls really communicate a certain type of personality. And so I made a case for the overalls. Oops, what did I do? Hi, solace in stories. My daughter has red hair. Oh, I love it.
I like
Oh,
Wi-Fi.
hey, she's back. It's okay. I was just talking about overalls. It's fine.
I wanted to hear about the overalls.
My daughter is superior. That's funny. Talking about red hair and how if a character has red hair, they're immediately superior. And I said that is true.
Does like orangey hair count? Like, is that considered red hair? Okay, because Lila.
I was gonna say you have your Lila art nearby because.
Oh, I have the Funko Pop. Can I get to it?
Sure. We need
I got
to
a
see
blanket
her.
on my lap. Ow, brittle.
Yeah, Cassidy from Plains is a redhead, and I couldn't imagine it any other way. It's like it's its own personality trait.
Oh my god, that was so much stress. Okay, we have Lila. Look at her.
Oh my gosh, that makes me smile. It
We
never
Becca
fails
too.
to smile. And there he is with that side part.
We love them. Oh, they're gonna stare at me now. Was I right?
With hair, it's funny with hair. Like now, so this is my third male like love interest or whatever, and I'm like, I can't just keep giving them the same hair, even though I keep like imagining the hair looks exactly the same. Like someone has to have different hair, but
all my guy main characters definitely have the same hair.
It's all have to be the same. It's weird the things that you get particular about. Like, why is this my hill to die on? I don't know.
Hi, Cap.
Everyone has such cute pictures, like for their little,
right?
I guess, your YouTube pictures. I don't even know if I have.
I have no idea. Yeah, these were made for me by my friend Alyssa. We love her. She's so talented. I'm trying to get her to make me some for my other books. Has she done that yet? No, but hopefully one day.
Call her out. The internet is forever.
Exactly.
That's like the ultimate goal. I remember like the first time I ever did anything related to Talk Flirty, someone was like, "What's your goal?" I was like, "I really want a Funko Pop someday."
Yeah, I would die for a Piper and Sam Funko Pop, quite honestly.
I'll just repurpose some like Alyssa did. Be like, these are first edition, only edition.
Yeah, exactly. Because Alyssa took Baby from Dirty Dancing to make Lila for her head. And then the body is Barb from Stranger Things. Rest in peace, Barb. I'm so sorry that we used your body. But here it is.
Justice for Barb. You've decapitated her for this.
It's for art.
It is for art. She's getting new life through Lila.
Yeah. And then Beckett, I believe, was like some Fallout character. I think it's just the entire body was from a Fallout character, I think. I could be wrong.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. They're my pride and joy. I love them.
They're the children. When I say the children, that's what I mean.
Exactly. I don't know how you've not seen the Mally, because I feel like I always talk about them. Maybe I haven't in a long time. I don't know, but I love them.
It's time to bring them back into the conversation.
I'll just put them like on the shelf or like on my cat scratching post, because that's right there. Like Alyssa? Yes, Alyssa. What's her channel name now? I keep forgetting. Where was she? Yours truly, Alyssa. This is her channel.
That's such a cute.
Yeah. You know what? Let me get her channel link so you guys can subscribe if you've not yet already.
We're a big Alyssa fan club.
I'm definitely Alyssa fan club. Okay. Let's see. What's your writing process like?
Yes. Yes.
That's it.
So I usually have had these last few times a very tight first draft turnaround. So like 5 to 6 weeks to get the first draft down. And when I'm not really even able to write anything because like my publisher is very, very good about being hands-on, which has been very helpful for me to not go too far off the rails. And I have some like my editor will put me back on. So anyway, I'll have about 6 weeks and I'll have a phone call and we'll like talk about all the things like basically like spaghetti at the wall, like these elements need to be in there and you can have some freedom as to how you put them in there. And so when I turn in that first draft, it's like, you know, with the understanding that I know a lot of it will change. And that was the biggest adjustment for me, was like recognizing that despite like anguishing over every single word as I'm writing, like it's so much of it's going to change, because like I used to only care about like things like being really, really funny and cleverly phrased. And through these last like 3 books, I've learned that it's just more important to focus on the story and actually like what you're trying to communicate, because your voice is still going to be your voice. Like how you write is probably not going to change that much, but like, you know, like taking a step back and being really like plot focused, which sounds like duh, but no, it was definitely like a light bulb for me. Like I actually have to pay attention to what they're doing and why they're doing it. Otherwise it'll fall flat. So very, very much a first draft that is a first draft, and being okay and not being a perfectionist about it. Having a plan. I'm definitely a planner. I have everything fleshed out up until like the midpoint, and then usually stuff has to change from there, because once you write characters and write a story, you realize some things that you planned are not working. So going back and changing it then. But like, it's funny when you talk about process, because you like want to tell people like, oh, here's some, you know, really tangible things you can do, but it's so different for everyone, you know. But I do think I would never tell anyone who is a pantser like to have a plan. But if you are somebody who likes to fly by the seat of your pants, like I think that's amazing. And I think you end up with a lot of like really magical things, because you're not beholden to this one idea. So like, love that for you. Like I miss being that way. But for me, definitely like I use romancing the beat, and I stick to that, because romance readers especially have very specific expectations. Like if you do not hit those beats, like they'll be like, something's not right, it's missing, you know. So it's hard to like be prescriptive though. Like you kind of feel like, this is so predictable, but that people like predictable. So, you know, beat sheets are your friend and all that. I made her freeze again. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Someone said I'm a plantser. It's hard. Yes. Yeah. I always try to sneak things in that weren't part of the plan.
I'm gonna kill my Wi-Fi.
There you are. I love when you come back to life.
I hate it so much. What did I miss?
I just said beat sheets are your friend, and then I said somebody said they're a planter and it's hard. You know, it's like you just don't ever want to feel like it's work. I mean, we all know it's work, right? But like having some spontaneity keeps it fun. I can't write without like face casts. Like I have to have a person in mind for every character already before I even write them. And sometimes, a lot of times it changes, and a lot of times the dude is like a little more vague. But like my like female main characters, I pretty much know who they are in real life, and then I tweak their personalities a little bit. But that's definitely like integral to my process. Like I need to be able to go on your TikTok, and that's just how it has to be. I'm so sorry. Sorry to all the people who have characters based on them who have no idea who I am.
Literally, though, I have one. I don't even know who she is, but I followed her on Instagram, and I was like, okay, like you're Megan from Reasons Why Not To. I'm like, sorry. And every time I see her, like her name's Megan in my head. Like I don't even know what her real name is. I'm just like, hey, Megan.
Right? I know. It becomes, and like sometimes I'll even, you know, have to remind myself like this is not actually the same person. It feels like the same. It feels like I invented you.
Yeah, like there's like this random Brazilian like influencer or something, or like model, and I'm like, you're Beckett. Like, sorry. Like he looks just like Beckett. He even has like the black little earrings, and I'm like, it was meant to be. Like I thought you into existence.
You'll have to send that to me. It's funny, my friends who are not writers who have read my books, like always are like, oh, this is you, and this is you, and this is your mom, and this is your, I'm like, no, I try not to make them real people, and I definitely try not to make them me. They're real, but not like that.
Yeah. I'm like terrified of my mom or like my dad. My dad would never read because he hates reading, but like my mom to like read my books one day, because I feel like she's just gonna like immediately assume that I base the mom off of her.
Yeah,
like,
they do. They do that. Even people who are like pretty much like like my friends who are my age and everything. They're still like, oh, you base this off of no.
Yeah, and I always like find that I kill off the dad. And so like if my dad were to ever like actually find out, he'd be like, why are you killing me off and everything? And I'd be like, no, Dad, I'm not killing
What are
you
you
off.
trying to communicate to me?
Yeah. Like I've got fantasies about killing him or something. Like, no, Dad, calm down.
No, it's just this is a YA, and therefore
There's gotta be a dead parent.
the genre dictates.
A lot of my decision making about like a dead parent or like, you know, my character not having any friends is mainly because I don't want to write a lot of characters. So I'm like, somebody's gotta go. I gotta make something happen. So I have less characters to write. In this book, both the parents are dead.
Oh, you're saving a lot of time.
Yeah, and like she lives with her grandparents, but like I'm pretty sure I've mentioned the grandpa like once, and he was just like sitting in a chair, and then I've just forgotten to mention him otherwise. So
I not obviously, but like Talk Flirty, one of the things about it was a massive amount of characters, and closing a lot of those loops and making sure they weren't, you know, hanging out in space. Like that was kind of a challenge. And this book has a lot of characters that I'm working on now, and making sure if they have enough of a role that they get like a satisfying sort of mini arc of their own. This is actually the first book where I've had a dead parent at all. So it's been different because I like books where you do have these really real and hard things, but it's not necessarily the focus of it. Like, you know, yes, this person lost someone, but it's not a book about that. It's just like a part of who they are. And I think a lot of topics that, like, you know, it can be a part of who they are without it being everything to them, you know? So.
Yeah. I feel like you handled the big family so well in this book. It's like my favorite thing. They're so good. And like, they're all so unique and so funny, and they just like they feel like a real family, which I really enjoyed. And there's like just some really good, funny family moments in this book, and I'm thinking of one in particular. It's pretty good.
I always say, like, the first book you write for yourself, therefore you never actually expect anyone to read it, so you might put something in it that you might not have done later, for example. And so even though I love how it turned out, I'm like, would I have done all that? And I was going to say too, that having the big family, like literally the decision was because I wanted to make one joke about Cheaper by the Dozen. So I'm like, well, they're going to have that many kids. I went really hard to commit to the bit. And so,
it worked really well. Well, it does have the Cheaper by the Dozen vibes to it.
It really, and that ended up being like such a big deal to the book. Whereas in my first iteration of it, I was just like, that's funny. And then I'm like, oh, actually that's a huge deal. So let's give the family some time on page, because
I always make too many characters, and cutting them is so difficult. I feel like I've definitely like had characters that I've had to cut before, because like most, like, they don't have like a purpose. They're just kind of there.
It's tough.
There was one in Reasons Why Not To, where like my mentor was like, they serve no purpose. And I was like, you know what? You're right.
I respect it.
But like, it was like a whole joke behind like the characters. Like that was the only reason I was keeping him in. And then I was like, you know what? You're right. Like I'll get rid of the joke because he doesn't need to be here.
We will do a lot to keep a single joke.
We really will.
Aw, whoever said that, thank you in the comments. So nice. Emotional crying on camera.
It's so good. Like I cannot wait until I can film my favorite books of 2022, because this is going to be on there. I wish I could have added it last year, honestly, because it was obviously when I first read it. But
really, you read 2 different books, let's be honest. So
truly though, and like I've read this book 3 times already, technically, and twice this year, like just this year, and I already want to read it again. I want to read it so bad. Me and Alyssa are thinking of doing it for a month of besties and books, which will be very exciting.
That would be so exciting. I love it.
She really wants to read it, and I'm like, I gotta push you to just actually do it.
Just push her over the ledge.
Yeah, don't mind me. I'm just flipping through it because it's so beautiful. Okay.
I got lucky with the cover for sure.
Oh my god, this cover is stunning. When you sent this to me,
a highlight.
like I feel like I nearly cried.
The first time I saw it, I was in a like Zoom meeting with like two
Oh, of
people and
course.
entangled, and I didn't know that it was coming at all. I had no idea what was going on, which is my entire life. And she was talking about the cover and was like, and she's like, "You've seen it, right?" And I was like, "No, I have not." And she shared her screen with me, and I like that meme of
Oh
Life
my
Alert
God.
where she's on the ground. I was like,
I can imagine, like, it's so stunning. And it like fits the book perfectly.
I was like, I'm not sure how anything will ever compare. Now
I
all
feel
I
like
do is fantasize about covers. That's why I write. I just want covers.
that's true. That's so real of you to say.
So brave.
The cover for Planes, Trains, and All the Feels is also so gorgeous.
It's
Maybe
super
I'll try
cute.
to.
I was excited about it, and I was so afraid writing that book, just every second of the process, because I loved Talk Flirty so much. I was like, this is my child. I don't know how I'll ever do it again, and all those insecurities. But then, like at the very final hour, it just all came together, and now I'm so emotional about that book. It's like ridiculous. Oh my gosh, I know she is.
I don't know how to make it full screen, but it's so
Okay.
beautiful.
I'm like really nervous for people to read it, but I'm excited too. It's
Yeah,
just
I feel like you texted me and said I hope you like it because I love Talk 30 so much that you're like scared I'm somehow not gonna like it, which is just impossible.
yeah. It was the first draft was very different. Just like every book, right? You
Yeah.
have to let yourself kind of fumble a little bit your way through it. But where it ended up, I'm like, okay, more children for me to cry thinking about who are imaginary. Wonderful. I need more reasons to cry.
I'm so excited to read it. I have it in my inbox and it's on my TBR for the month. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I'm so
Facts for
excited.
people who are listening is that I keep sending Brittany copies of my books as they're like being produced, and I'm like, here's this, but don't read it yet because it's going to change. And then like 3 months later, I'm like, here's this one, but give it a minute.
I'm pretty sure I've got like 3 different versions of Planes, Trains, and All the Feels in my inbox.
It's just like a collection of like me failing up. Like, all right, we finally got it. Here's the last draft.
It's so funny. And I put the like all the manuscripts I get into like a specific folder on my Gmail, and I swear there's like 3 planes on there.
And that's what we like to hear.
I'm so blessed. I feel so honored. Ooh, yes, it is monthly. The book for this month is Six of Crows by Lee Bardugo, which I'm so nervous to read because high fantasy is not my genre. So
I want to hear all your thoughts about that. I haven't read it. I still want to hear them though.
I
don't actually read books, but like, tell me how you like it.
I hate books, actually. But yeah, so it's monthly. We do a poll on our Twitter, which is just Besties and Books, each month. So you can join in and choose what book you want us to read. I think we have a plan for like what we want to do for next month's poll, but like we're not like 100% certain yet. But yes, please do join. Alyssa will die because she loves you, B. She loves you so much. Okay, I think we should do another sprint. That's all right.
Mm-hmm.
We did 2, right?
Yes.
Okay. Third sprint. I can stop sharing Planes and Trains. Planes and Trains, that sounded funny. Okay. Oh my god, there's a squirrel staring at me from the window. Go away. Absolutely not. That was terrifying. Its beady little eyes were just...
I banish thee.
Like, it literally was like in the corner of the window, and all I could see was like its one eyeball. That was
Probably the only one it has.
That was... I feel like I just had a near-death experience. Not to be dramatic or anything.
Not to be dramatic, but I just died.
Oh my god, yay. I'm so excited. Okay. What am I doing? I don't know. Okay, are we ready? Oh wait, no, I want to do 20 minutes this time. Excuse me. Okay, now are we ready?
Good to go.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie, that kind of scared me that time.
I had my YouTube music on, so I was like, is that gonna come through? And then it didn't, so great.
I have no idea how much I wrote during that sprint.
I didn't look at the beginning, I failed.
Oh, I wrote 586.
Oh gosh.
That's the
You're in the
most that I've
zone.
written so far, even though like I started like a couple minutes late because I had to fix something in my bullet journal, but that's wild. Okay, how did everybody else do during that? Not even was breaking 2 blinds.
Oh, no.
Chaotic.
Oh, no.
My cats have broken like all of the blinds in our house. It's wild.
These like the houses in Texas are so close together in some of these neighborhoods, like I'm like looking into someone else's window. So if I broke a blind, it would be a tragedy.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's the subdivision life. Alyssa went on a walk.
A hot girl walk.
Love
I love
it.
that.
Ooh, 798 words. Okay.
That's amazing. I'm baffled. That squirrel was harassing me, okay? It's been coming here like every day for the past couple of weeks. It's taunting me. It knows that I'm scared.
It is a personal attack.
It truly is, though. Okay. Let's see. I only have one more question left.
Perfect.
Just one more. What was your publishing journey like? Querying, submission, etc. I feel like we did talk about this already a little bit, but in case people weren't here at the beginning, you can get more into it.
Yeah. So I Talk Flirty was my first adult romance, and so I didn't have a lot of like insight as to which agents I wanted more than others. I was very new to the landscape of publishing in general, and so when I finished that, I finished it, during a time when I was just meeting writers and kind of interacting with people for the first time. So that was during a Pitch Wars waiting period, and a lot of the people who were Pitch Wars hopefuls, which I had entered a YA contemporary into Pitch Wars and did not get in. And, some of the girls were like, oh, you should enter AMM. And it's kind of like Pitch Wars, but without a showcase. And so I, entered and worked with a mentor through Author Mentor Match. And she was really integral in like helping me pick the right agents, because like one thing I always want people to feel empowered to do is like actually choose to query agents who they really want a long-term partnership with, because like there's so many opportunities for things to be hard and messy and uncomfortable and like legally chaotic and stuff. And you don't know that because I was just so desperate for someone to want me that I didn't think about those things. And I mean, so that's just an aside. You should always feel like it's your career that you're in control of when you're choosing these agents and so on. So I actually got my agent and my editor like at the same time simultaneously. It was like a really weird process, but it was a Twitter pitch event, and the editor reached out and I sent her the pages. And while I was waiting for her to like respond, I got the request from my now agent. And so it was kind of all happening like at the same time. And it was really overwhelming. And so it all ended up working out the way I feel like it was supposed to. So, Entangled, my publisher, is an indie publisher under Macmillan. So they have like, it's kind of like a little bit of both. Like they are an indie, but they have the relationship and the, whatever with the bigger publisher. So I've kind of learned a lot about how both sides work. I would recommend indies to everyone. I mean, they're not all equal. So I know my experience might not be the same as what somebody else experiences with an indie, but I always want people to entertain those options because it's been such a wonderful experience. It's a lot. I've written a lot very quickly, and like my turnaround times are very hard. Like, I don't know that I don't know what it would be like to take my time on a book, and I don't plan to find out because I'm just turn them out. But yeah, so that's basically the story. Is a lot of really a lot of luck, a lot of timing, and a lot of knowing that, like, what I would say too is whatever genre you're really passionate about. Like, I know a lot of people like to write a bunch of genres and see what sticks, and that's a great strategy, because whichever one you're most passionate about is probably going to be the one you end up going with anyway, because it'll come out in your writing. I was not made to write YA dystopian, little did I know. And so when I got into what I'm doing now, it's just so much easier to write. So, follow the passion of whatever genre you want to really, really do a lot of work in, because you'll read and write the same book 6 times, and then you'll write more of the same. And so, yeah, that's it. And so, I know a lot of agents do both YA and adult, but my agent, her name is Barbara Collins Rosenberg. She does only adult romance. And so she's been a really good resource. And yeah, the rest was me having anxious days history of how am I going to write multiple books? And here we are.
You're killing it. So
thank you.
I remember when this was like all going down, it was very chaotic. Like it literally did all happen at once. It was wild.
Yeah, it was like a 4-month span where every single day something changed my life. And it was like, I don't know how this keeps happening. And I really think, like, the people talk about self-inserting with writing. And I talked about earlier how my friends were like, is this you? Is this you? Is this you? No, none of the characters are me, right? But there's so many pieces of yourself you do put into things. And it's funny that when people talk about like Talk Flirty, they're like, oh, I really like the this from the family. And I'm like, those things, it's funny, those are the most real things to me from my life. So I guess, like, write what you know, and what I know is chaos. So it all worked out. I also do like always like to
read about.
It's like so much luck. It really is. And so it sucks to hear that, but it also is freeing, like being at the right place at the right time. It's like, who knows? And I also think that self-publishing is a gift, and that's also how I feel. So
yeah, I so admire people who do self-publishing, because I don't think I could ever do it. Like it seems just so hard.
It's different because you have to be really in tune with like marketing things, and that's lucky that I've had this. I feel like I'm in boot camp. Like I'm learning a lot about what it means to market and find a brand and find things about your writing that stand out. And, what you're naturally good at might not be what you think. Like, I would have thought something different about myself, 2 years ago. And so learning your strengths is really nice too.
Yeah.
I'm the Alyssa fan club. I don't know if you were on your walk when we talked about this. We are all the Alyssa fan club.
We are. We were talking about the Funko Pops. We love them.
We do.
And we were trying to bully you into making the other ones for my books.
Listen, I don't know if you have a day job, but you should quit it and only make Funko Pops.
She's so good at it. Like, this is wild.
I know. It's like
they look
amazing.
Like official ones.
I don't even know how you would do that. It's so cool.
Me either. I don't know how she goes about doing it. She also made herself a Will Herondale one, and that one's also very cute. Yeah, like I know we've brainstormed like which Funko Pop she could use to make my other characters. She just has to actually do it. So
we're complimenting her while like you're harassing her. It's a beautiful
moment. Yeah, we were just obsessing over you, Alyssa.
It's true. Ken cleaned out her office, and I respect that as well. I love that for her.
I missed that comment.
I wish I would clean something, but maybe in 3 weeks when this book is done. Maybe not.
I actually cleaned my room yesterday, which was like much needed because I just had laundry everywhere. Like I had 2 baskets of clean laundry that I just hadn't put away. So like now my room feels like so big because it's all clean.
It is very brave of you to have your desk facing facing outward, or your computer facing outward, because I have the wall behind me, so no one ever has to know anything about what's happening over there.
This is all of my mom's stuff. So people can, if it looks messy, that's my mom's fault. This is not my fault. I have no control over what she does over here. It's not cute. It's not aesthetic. This is not what I wish my background would be. It's way cuter on this side. You
are the aesthetic. It's okay.
Thank you. I feel like I'm not very aesthetic, but I appreciate that.
Oh my gosh. Fall is your time to shine. You're so aesthetic.
You know what? I'm changing to Christmas tomorrow. I'm going to come alive. I'm so excited.
It's time to thrive. It's our time now.
Yeah, like the whole like September through December is like my time. It's like, yeah, it's where I
What
thrive.
comes after Scorpio season? It goes something,
no idea.
then Sagittarius. Whatever it is, that's your time.
I'm a Leo though, so that's unfortunate. I'm actually like on the cusp of Leo and Cancer.
Oh, that's an interesting combo. I like it. Maybe it's Libra.
Maybe. I don't know anything about astrology. Head out for the night. I'll be here for the next one. Thank you for joining. We'll see you next time. I think I'm going to actually end this in a few minutes because I think my mom's going to be home and I've got to go to Costco. So
Costco's important. One of my children just deleted my other children's Minecraft worlds, and I hear him crying in the other room. So it's fine. Perfect timing for a meltdown. I have the mental capacity to handle it.
Poor kid. I am putting up my tree. I'm doing like my bedroom and like my desk area tomorrow, and then like this weekend we're putting up like our main tree and like everything like that.
Yay! Yeah, we're doing our tree this weekend too.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Red.
Thank you, Alyssa. I am the Christmas queen. I will claim that.
Claim that. Claim it.
Aw.
I know. Our hearts all go out to Link. That is his name.
Poor kid.
Poor kid.
Okay, well, I think that we should end this. I was going to do another sprint, but we kind of got away with the talking a little bit, which is not a problem.
It's me.
Hi. The problem is me.
Exactly.
That was stuck in Allie's head earlier, and I feel like we just inserted it right back in there.
We're all hive mind.
It's never too early for Christmas. November 1st is Christmas, okay?
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I get a little bit too into it while we're still in October. And like, I've definitely, thank you, definitely before, like, I've watched a Christmas movie on Halloween. I will justify it by saying that like it was technically past midnight, so it was technically November 1st, but it still very much so felt like it was still Halloween. Like I had like pumpkin lights on, but like had a Christmas movie on my laptop. It's fine.
Perfect. I love it. Well, thank you for doing this. This was really fun. I actually got so much done. It's like surprising to me. I'm like, oh, I thought I would just be distracted, but I wasn't. So
I love that. Thank you so much for joining. I'm so happy.
Thank you. And thank you to everybody who hung out with us.
Yeah, it's such a good turnout. You guys were all great. But yeah, so I will see you guys next week. I have a stream with Kaylee Holford, who is the author of the upcoming book, The Last Love Song, which you guys are gunging. What am I saying? You're going to want to keep that on your radar. It's coming out in 2024. It's a YA contemporary romance. It's so good. So yeah, same time next week. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for joining this live show. It was so much fun, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.